6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Manchester United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's 10:03. Yes, it's 10:03. It's more importantly than 10:03. It is the 65th anniversary of the Munich Air Disaster today. So we will be commemorating them in the first 10 minutes of this show. Also going to bring you a video that Manchester United Foundation have sent out. It's a fantastic commemorative poem for the Busby Babes. I'll run through all of that and we can discuss it as a community down here in the comments. And as I do every single year on the Munich Air Disaster anniversary, I share my dissertation, which I did, and I'll run through that. And what we do on a Monday is take a look back at the weekend's results. And it was a pretty good weekend as far as results go in the Premier League. Manchester United with that 2-1 win over Palace. You see my match reaction. We can speak about it down here this morning as a community. But on top of that, Liverpool. Anyway, Liverpool losing 3-0, I think it was, to Wolves. City, they lost away at Spurs. Chelsea, they drew. Newcastle, they drew. Don't really care about Leeds. Leeds, they lost. A very, very good weekend. Arsenal lost as well, of course. So we'll run through all of that. Reaction from Ten Hag. And look, you can see it down there about this team standing up for each other. Yeah, that red card for Casemiro was a bad one. We'll run through all of that. As is always the case, every single show here on United People's TV, it's busy. There are so many talking points. But good morning to everybody. Let's see who's down here from the members. We've got M. Lenosh. We've got Akil, Cormac, Craig. Good morning to you. T. Carl, Josh, I can see there, Ant as well, or Andy, Julie, Sam Chiang, we've got Stu Backer, we've got Jamie Lord, who's on Facebook, we've got Henry, Stephen Lawrence, we've got Tisha, we've got Bowl, and we've got, well, there's loads of you. Good morning to all of you. But yeah, of course, the main focus of the first 10 minutes of the show will be to rightly commemorate not just the Busby Babes, but those who lost their lives in the Munich Air Disaster. For me, for you, for every Manchester United fan, this is always a day to remember, because it's an event and a tragedy which shaped United's history. It really did. Now, today at Old Trafford, there will, of course, be the Munich Memorial held underneath the clock outside, well, the plaque, sorry, outside the East Stand. That's at Old Trafford. And Manchester United making sure everybody knows that takes place from 20 to 3 if you were to go today. But from my own personal perspective, I always like to share this, the dissertation. I'm sure most of you know by now. I did history at university, and my dissertation was on the Munich Air Disaster. I did a 13-part series looking into all the, as I say there, the social, the political, and the economic impact of the Munich Air Disaster in Manchester and in England as well. If I run down here and I run through the series, I will just leave the link in the description down here. Okay, this is for everybody, not in the description, sorry, in the comments. For anybody who would like to read it, there's the link for you there. It's broken down into a 13-part series. First part's an introduction to the team. Second part is the context of the disaster. Third part is a profile of all those who lost their lives, how United coped with the aftermath, how did others react, the story of Bobby Charlton and Duncan Edwards, what's been written about. Look, it's a long old 13-part series, and it was as I said, my main piece of research at university. And there's something I want to share with you this morning here before we move on. But Manchester United Foundation have released a 2-minute commemorative poem. And they sent it to me this morning as a press release. So I wanted to bring it here on the channel. So it's a poignant piece. That's what I would call it.
Forever and ever will follow the boys.
Of Manchester United, the Busby Babes.
For we all remember that 58 day.
And the plane that that once stood on the Munich runway.
As it tried to take off for the third fatal time.
The immortal young babes were cut down in their prime.
In the cold snow of Munich, they laid down their lives.
So come all supporters and hold your heads high.
For Manchester United will never die.
We'll never die.
Will never die.
We'll never die.
For Manchester United will never die.
So yeah, that was the Manchester United Foundation that sent that to me, and I thought it was a lovely video, so I thought I'd put it on here. And of course, on Saturday, it was the closest home game to the 6th of February, which is the anniversary. So what always happens at Old Trafford, wreaths and is a commemoration. Before the game, Erik Ten Hag walked out with Patrick Vieira, and yeah, it was. I suppose it was a game. It was a goal from Marcus Rashford, scored by an academy product, which won it. It was a wonderful goal. But yeah, it's always important on the anniversary to remember. It always is. So yeah, I've left as I said, I've left the link to the dissertation down there. If you get some time, read it in separate parts. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two, because it's always important to understand the history and the context of what shaped Manchester United, because it really, really did shape us. But good morning to all of you. I think it's down there whilst we were doing that. Stu, indeed. Stu, man. Stu's just gifted 10 memberships to the community. One absolute don. As I say every time now, anybody gifts memberships, it all goes back in. I'm bringing people on to make the community bigger and better so we can be able to produce more content. The podcast is going to get leveled up. Everything that you put into the community, I'm reinvesting it back in. So thank you very much, Stu, and thank you to everybody else. But I suppose the segue I want to do from speaking about the Munich Air Disaster, Erik Ten Hag there, and Erik Ten Hag celebrating after that game against Crystal Palace. And I tell you what, he would definitely have been celebrating the results this weekend. All right, let's take a look at the table here on a Monday morning. And that is indeed Manchester United right up there in third place, just 3 points behind Manchester City. Now, as far as a weekend of results go, it was pretty good. Arsenal losing away at Everton. Big up Sean Dyche. And the new manager bounce. Very good time for Arsenal to go to Goodison Park. Arsenal losing there. City yesterday against Spurs. Now, I've seen quite a few United fans. When I tweeted about it yesterday, they were like, would rather Spurs have won. We would have got the gap, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hell no. Drag City into this. I don't want City and Arsenal to be running away at the top of the table, doing whatever they want. Sod that. I'm fine. I'm happy that City lost. And remember, and I say this a million times as well, if City win the title this year, they win 3 in a row. I would much rather take Arsenal winning the title over that. So City lost, Newcastle drew, Chelsea drew, Liverpool. Where are Liverpool? Sorry, I was looking down. I couldn't see how far down they were. 10th. Honestly, it's going to be a conversation as to whether Jurgen Klopp gets sacked this year. I know we all said it as a bit of a joke at the start of the season, but that Liverpool team's only getting worse and worse. And if it's it's beautiful. I love it. I'm really, really enjoying it. But yeah, people, as I say, some people are saying, I would rather Spurs have won, Spurs lost, and sod that. Everything is on this season, and I tell you what. Just the feeling around this football club. I say it every week, and every week it just builds. Every week it just increases and gets better and better and better. Alan, yep. I think they're going to be switching the top 10 to a top 11 to include Liverpool. But look, Erik Ten Hag was almost prophetic when he said this before the start of the season, wasn't he? Said era has come to an end, and we were all sitting there as United fans going, yeah, no, it looks good, sounds good. But we know how good City and Liverpool are. And then here we are on like the 6th of Feb. Liverpool's season is completely collapsing. And City have they've lost something. It's weird, isn't it? They haven't lost anything. Well, you could say they've lost Cancelo. But they gained probably the most lethal goal scorer that there's going to be inside this generation. And they're struggling because Haaland, well, let's not get into I don't need to get into the nuances about why or how they are struggling, but it's just fantastic to see. And I saw this. I don't really care if it's completely true or not, but I saw this from the Daily Mail from Mike Keegan. Fergie has long been a regular at Old Trafford matches, but now is becoming a regular at away games. Sources have disclosed that Fergie is enthused by Ten Hag. I just like the idea now that it gets like a game on the weekend when it's an away game. Fergie's like, yeah, go on then. Yeah, I fancy it now. Go on. He's in there just cheering for the Erik Ten Hag Reds. I just like the idea of it. I really, really like the idea of it. Let me see down here what you're saying about in the comments. Tony, I will say this once, but simply because I know there's going to be a lot of comments about it. I've seen everything about players, members of staff being split and everything on Mason Greenwood. I will not say another word about the Mason Greenwood situation until Manchester United release their discovery from their own investigation and we get an update on that. I'm not going to speak about any speculation about what the players might think or about what the staff might think, because it's not the time or the situation for speculation in that sense. So anybody who leaves in a comment about it, you're not going to get an answer. All right. That's just what's going to happen. Right. But as I said, the most important thing that we need to talk about right now, today, after commemorating the Busby Babes and those who lost their lives. As I said, it's not just the Busby Babes. Everybody who lost their lives in the Munich Air Disaster. Let's speak about that game against Crystal Palace. You can let me know what you think about the game in the comments below. There are lots of different talking points. And my video today that's going to go out at lunchtime is really, really going to be a good one. If I do say so myself. Sometimes they're good. But it's going to be about the blueprint. For me, the blueprint of Manchester United for Erik Ten Hag is based on, I've got two clear examples of it now. It's going to be the Spurs game and that second goal that we scored against Crystal Palace. I'll run through that a little bit later in the show. But that game against Crystal Palace, for the first, 65 minutes or so, Man United had control, proper control of that game of football. We were deciding what to do, when to do it. And we were in cruise control after that second goal went in. Now, of course, that red card changed everything. But what that red card, I suppose, showed, and that moment, was a real, genuine fighting spirit and togetherness. And in itself, I think United have lost Casemiro for the next 3 games, right? That's bad. And we'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. But what we've gained is a little bit of an extra edge as a team. They are genuinely a team of fighters and a team of scrappers now. And they haven't done that for a long, long time. They really, really have not. Damon, thank you very much, dude. Down there, gifting 5. Tony, E-Term, Brian, Casper, and I'm Callie. You are the lucky 5 down there. Mate, brilliant generosity in the community. I say it every day, but it must be the best community out there. There can't be any better. This is what Ten Hag said after the game. He said, look, once again, we are united between the fans and the team. The connection, and we have to keep the process going, is brilliant because it really shows that we are working together on the success of Manchester United. And when Ten Hag was specifically speaking about that togetherness after the game in a little bit more detail, this is what he said. Bully, you're down there and you're completely spot on. That comment just caught my eye. And it's now just disappeared. Comments. So many comments. It's good to see them fighting together, you said. This is what Erik Ten Hag said after the game. We played a good game. We played a brilliant game at a high level for the first 70 minutes until the incident takes place. You see, however, that this team stands up for each other. They stand for each other and they don't accept for us when a player can be badly injured. That is the way Anthony got treated, and this team sticks together. But Casemiro has to control his emotions. I see two teams fighting each other. I see two teams, and one crosses the line and one player is picked out and sent off. That is not right. But it's that bit there about how this team is fighting together, right? Because we know full well they ended up being a little bit of a fight. Wilkaholic, right? Anna, nice to see you rejoining as a member there, dude. You can say this about the red, right? You can say that it wasn't a red card. And we all know full well, I think this is probably the best angle of it you can get. This is from just behind, and you can see that Casemiro isn't holding Will Hughes by the neck in an aggressive fashion. Like, he's not pushing down with his thumbs. He's not applying pressure to the neck and forcing Will Hughes backwards. Instead, he's holding him basically by the collar and pulling him forwards, pulling him away from the fight rather than just pushing him into the fight, if you know what I mean. I agree with you in saying it wasn't a red. Actually, no, I don't. Casemiro put two hands on his neck, right? Casemiro, dude, you are a smart individual. I know full well that it was a collar grab, but in the context of the game or what the referee was doing, I understood the red card, but absolutely no way would I appeal this. You do know what happens or what could happen if we appeal this, right? If I've got my fixtures correct, let me make sure I do before I embarrass myself, which wouldn't be the first time. We go here. We got 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So Casemiro is now banned for 3 games, right? Means he's going to miss Leeds, home and away, and he's going to miss Leicester. If we appeal, and look, I'm sorry, but that doesn't get overturned. In my opinion, not in an appeal. And if you lose an appeal, that could get extended to 4 games. You know what that 4th game is? The League Cup final. Now, United, our midfield is going to struggle. We've already got Christian Eriksen out for 3 to 4 months. We've now got Casemiro out for 3 games. We've got McTominay out for a few weeks. It's tough. It really, really is tough. And United are going to struggle. But I'll tell you what, Marcel Sabitzer, I'll speak about him a little bit later. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I don't think it's ever getting overturned. I know it wasn't a red. I know that we have seen so many different angles and so many different videos. And we know that Casemiro, first red of his career, by the way, that Casemiro was not going in there as an aggressor, but he shouldn't have grabbed him around the neck. Casemiro could have done that by pushing on his chest, by pulling his shirt away from him like that. It was silly from Casemiro to put his hands on the neck, all right? I'm sorry, it was. We'll just have to cope without him. But no way we're going to appeal. And if we did appeal, we wouldn't win it anyway. Now, there's a couple of comments down there from people saying I've missed some super chats. Let me go up here and see if I can see them then. There was a super sticker there from Ola. Thank you very much, dude. I don't really know what super stickers are. I'll be completely honest. Let me see if I missed these super chats up here then. Honestly, people, there's never any offense. I'm not picking and choosing. I wish you could see how many comments I had down here. I really, really do. I'm scrolling. There's one really up here. Kevin, red card decision will galvanize us even further. Geez, that was about 15 minutes ago. That's probably why I didn't see it. Sorry, mate. I hope so. I think it just shows a bit of fight in this team. They give a shit. They genuinely give a shit. And look, I've seen some people trying to say, oh, Anthony's at fault for that. It shouldn't have happened. Anthony shouldn't have got involved in that scrap. Like, dude, that's Anthony's character, man. Big reason why I'm not saying that Erik Ten Hag signed him to get into scraps like that, but that fighting characteristic of him, that's a big reason he signed him. You want fighting characteristics as well. Week in, week out, Martinez is incredible for Manchester United. And I love Casemiro. But I think I said it in my match reaction, right? When it's going against United and we're, you know, it's a tough part of the game, that's when I think we see the best of Martinez. That's when I think we really see the impact that Martinez has on this team. Man, this dude is so good in those situations. So good. When the pressure's really on you, and as fans, we will get squeaky bum time. It's almost like that's when Martinez comes to life. That's where that's the sort of situations that Martinez wants to be in. He wants to be in those situations. Come at me, bro. Let's go. It's incredible, man. It's incredible how good he is and how bad Graham Souness. Just all of them. Graham, TalkSport. What an absolute shit show. I think it's 2-3 times they've asked me to go on there now, and I never will, because just that Gabby Bonhor stuff that's coming out, saying about Casemiro should be arrested. That dude must struggle to tie his shoelaces in the morning. Tim, you're saying FA will not overturn it. It will mean they were wrong. I mean, that sometimes does happen, right? But there's no chance it gets overturned. I think anyway. It's not worth it. Deal with it. It's a problem. That will never happen again from Casemiro. You've learned that mistake. I think we can cope with it. Leeds are in the relegation. Are you in the relegation zone? They're thereabouts anyway. Got them at home. Then we've got Leeds away. Won't be easy. But we can win both of those games. And then we've got Leicester, right? We should be winning those 3 games without Casemiro, in my opinion. As tough as it will be. But I tell you what, and there's two players that we need to speak about here. Number one, how incredible was Fred in those? I'm sitting there, I'm rightly praising how good Martinez was, but how good was Fred when Casemiro got sent off? It's like Fred became Fred and a half. It was like Fred 1.5. He was everywhere. He was he was covering the space. He was doing everything twice. Man, that dude has got, his lung capacity must be insane. I don't know how he runs. I do not know how he runs. Incredible performance from him. An incredible performance from Lisandro Martinez. For me, it was those 2 players who really took us through those last 20 minutes. Because it was tough. As soon as that red card went to Casemiro, we're 2-0 up. It seemed confident. They got that goal back. It was a set piece. What are you doing, United? Set pieces are always dangerous, and that I don't know. I always fear when we concede set pieces still. But with Fred and Casemiro in that team, with Fred and Martinez in that team, it was amazing. But we have to give praise to this man as well, because Marcel Sabitzer making his Manchester United debut. Not the easiest scenario to do it. And I tell you what, I think in the context of the game itself, I think the referee's decision to call a foul on Sabitzer when he won the ball back so cleanly, and then Rashford was on a counter-attack, I think in the context of the game in real time, that was a far worse decision than sending Casemiro off. The Casemiro one, I know we can argue about it, but ultimately, he had 2 hands on the player's throat. We know that there wasn't really malice in that he was pulling him away rather than forcefully pushing him forward. But as referees looking at the monitor, he had 2 hands on his throat. Whereas that decision to say that was a foul from Sabitzer was just madness. He won that ball so cleanly, put his leg in. It was just such a very good tackle. I don't know how they gave that as a foul, and that should have been a game over at that point. But Sabitzer, he looks decent. He looks good, and he looks very capable of playing at the tempo that we need him to play at. I tell you what, next 3 games, we're looking at him starting. And I tell you, man, we needed him in January. If we didn't go out and get him, imagine what situation how we would feel now. We would have Eriksen out for 3 months, Casemiro banned for 3 games, McTominay sidelined. We'd have Fred Bruno, and who would play? Mainu? Probably Mainu. Would you see Martin? I don't know. It would be all sorts of compromises. I'm looking forward to seeing him starting a game. Jay Shaw, you're saying it's my birthday today. Born to be a United supporter. Mate, nice. Happy birthday to you, my friend. 1989. Great year. Great age. Great age. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments, right? You can see what you're saying about Sabitzer. Fred was immense. He looked good in the little bit that he played. That was such a dumb foul. It was It was weird. It was very, very odd. But I think I don't know. You can let me know what you think in the comments, right? As you always do. But I've just got, is it that one there? I've just got my sense of confidence. 1 second on there. I can see what you're saying down there. What is going on? 1 second here. Ooh. This is about Man City and this is about FFP. This is happening right now. Ooh, baby. Hold your horses here, ladies and gents. That's a lot of text. That's a lot of text. Let me bring this one up. This is from Martin Ziegler from The Times. Manchester City have been charged by the Premier League with numerous breaches of financial rules following a 4-year investigation. Oh dear. What does it say down here? Range of sanctions includes points deduction. What the I don't know what noise I'm making now, but I'm just, man, that is so deserved. That is so deserved. What are they saying down here? Respect of each season's. What have they done? Man, look at all the times. All these different rules. 2009, 10, 10, 11, 12. Every single season. Dirty, dirty cheats. Look, we all know they've done this, right? We've all been... It makes no sense that their revenue is as high as it is when their fan base is so damn small. It's obvious what they've been doing. They've been getting sponsorships in by companies that are part owned by their owners and just getting inflated prices. This was inevitable. Oh, guys, just focus on United, man. Don't be looking at City. Don't be enjoying what's going on here.
We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
Oh, man, this feels sweet. This feels sweet. Tom, you're saying down there, is this 100% legit? It is indeed from Martin Ziegler from The Times, I believe. Is that your right, for? Yep. Chief sports reporter for The Times. This is indeed legit. And this has been coming. Hey, look, Chelsea next, baby. What's going on there? Robert, you're saying, look, what's happening next? This is going to, well, they've been charged directly by the Premier League with numerous breaches of FFP following by the way, a 4-year investigation. That's like one of those big sting operations that comes out and you think, oh, no, never got that much evidence. Oh, it's it's a 4-year investigation. You've been looking at us for quite a while, haven't you? Yes, you have. They've been cooking their books for years, man. Barcelona have been cooking their books last year with everything they did with their levers. Man City have just been, let's find out. Let's find out how deep this goes. It's saying right there, that 1 second, I'll show you down there in the comment, in terms of what could happen. Range of sanctions possibly includes a points deduction if breaches are proved. This has been coming for a long, long time. Andrew, hey, look, can't rule it out. But it's good to see that there has to be some sort of regulation on this. Everyone talks about the money that United spend. It's all within our own revenues. Our revenues are 600, 700 million a year. Cities are, well, I think they are now. Dodgy. Very, very dodgy. That is massive news. Let's see what goes on next. P.S. What are you saying? Casemiro red card could be a blessing in disguise. He'll be fully charged and rested for the 2 Barca games in the final. Next 3 Premier League games we will manage. Hey, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a blessing in disguise that Casemiro. I know you can take the positive spin on that if you want. It's not good. Casemiro, he is more than capable and fit enough and experienced enough to play in every single one of these games, and he'd just be fully great in all of them. I'd rather Casemiro's not out. I don't think it can be a silver lining. I get what you mean, but Casemiro will learn from that. He'll be pissed off at himself. He'll be like, I shouldn't put my hands on his neck. Could have done anywhere else, and he could have, and I think that's the issue. I don't think United have really got any complaints, and we won't. If we appeal that, I will be flabbergasted. Big use. Flabbergasted, use that word. We see down here what's going on in the comments. Man, it's absolutely crazy today. Absolutely crazy. Ricky, I thought I saw something down there. Ricky, you just gifted 10 memberships, dude. Absolutely. Thank you very much, man. I don't know what's going on down there in the comments, but if you're going to argue, if anyone's going to argue, can you just step out of it? Right? It's supposed to be a community chat down here. Seriously, if you want to take it elsewhere. So many more talking points still to run through. And this is a really important one, right? This is Erik Ten Hag talking about that second goal that Manchester United scored. He said, I think the second goal really gives a reference to the attacking football from the Busby Babes. Great actions, short combinations, and a great finish by a player out of the youth academy. And that is brilliant on a day like today. And it was. That goal in itself, I'm not going to play the video because this video will get shut down for copyright. But I can show you some little photos of it. You know full well what happened here. The passing and the movement out from the back from Manchester United was patient, was composed, it was incisive, it was one-touch football, it was sweeping left to right, front to back. And it resulted in an absolutely fantastic goal scored by who else but Marcus Rashford. And for me, that is right there. We haven't seen, look, we've seen some brilliant goals so far under Erik Ten Hag. That one right there looks like an Ajax goal. That one right there looks like the football that Erik Ten Hag is building towards. That right there is the end product. We're not there yet, but we've shown with that goal that we are capable of it. Now, that's what happens. That will happen on a far more regular basis when we've got that better squad overall. We've got someone like Frenkie de Jong, and we've probably got we've got another strike. That's where we need to get to. And I tell you what, just we're playing. We can do that in February. Erik Ten Hag only took over in August. The preseason started. It really bodes well. Really, really bodes well, man. And I've got a photo of it here. I've got a photo of him. I'm loving everything about Manchester United on the pitch at this moment. And bear in mind, what was it last week? We had the frustration, drawing away at Crystal Palace, losing with a last-minute goal away at Arsenal. Has it killed momentum? No, not in any way, shape or form. The momentum continues to flow. Arsenal top of the league. United now, as we say, pull up the table there. We're third. 3 points behind City. And I tell you what, that may well change. I'm bringing that back up here, actually. Yeah, let's bring this up. Let's bring up the full story here from Sky Sports now, because this is a huge bit of news, right? Man City currently second in the Premier League, ahead of Man United on points. But that may well change. Oh, one sec. That's not working. We need to get some sort of producer in to help me with these shows. I really do. Maybe we'll at some point in the future. In the meantime, I do it all myself. Right. Let's get that breaking news. Let's read through this article today together. Manchester City have been breached by the Premier League with numerous alleged breaches of financial rules. The charges relate to financial information regarding revenue. This is sorry. That's what we keep talking. It's the thing I keep going back to. It makes no sense. How is a club of your size with the fan base that you've got? How is your revenue up there? It has never made sense. Never. DD, you're saying Man United is only 20% of where Ten Hag wants to go. We spoke about this a little bit early in the season. I think we all agreed probably around 40%. I reckon we're about 40% of the way there. Danny, you're saying that they'll probably pay it back. Hey, look, of course they, man. They're going to try that. They're going to try everything to weasel their way out of this. This is what the charges relate to. The charges relate to financial information regarding revenue, details of player and manager remuneration. I'm guessing that's to do with their wages. UEFA regulations, profitability and sustainability, and cooperation with Premier League investigations. Well, so they broke every rule then. The Premier League has referred to the alleged offences, which date back to the 2009-10 season. Don't need to say what happened that season. To an independent commission. More to follow. That's a lot. That is a lot. I think that's what it was down there. Is that what it was? Man City having more revenue than Real Madrid. Just think about it. For a split second, just sit there and think about that. City are absolutely idiots. They are crap criminals. Why would you make it that obvious? Come on, man. This has been coming for a long, long time, and you are damn right. I'm celebrating this because it's the money from City that came into the Premier League back. It was Chelsea first. Chelsea with Abramovich back in 2003. City with Abu Dhabi back in 2008. The influx of the money from those two owners completely changed the scope of the Premier League for everybody else. And now, finally, there's some comeuppance. Hey, look, right? You're probably going to be right. I imagine after this all settles down, I imagine City are probably going to get a financial fine. I think, PSG got... I think PSG have been given the biggest fine. There was, I think, a team in Italy too. But it was a financial one. Can you let me know down here in the comments what the biggest fine or punishment that's happened for anybody breaching FFP rules? Has it ever been a points deduction? I think there was conversation previously about being banned from UEFA competitions. I don't know whether that's ever happened or not. Amy, you got to be sick if you're enjoying this. I remember that. How can you possibly enjoy? Yeah, I will revel in it. I will revel in it. David, I think, I'll be honest, I think it's the only fair and just thing to do. Although saying that will give Liverpool a couple more titles. Yeah, we'll give United some more titles too. They need to relegate clubs. Yeah, of course, Juve. That, well, geez. Anybody watched the sit? Was it called Bad Sport on Netflix? One of the episodes is about that Juventus scandal. Great series. I love watching sports documentaries. Points deduction and financial fine. Juventus 25 points deduction. PSG were given 50. I knew it was a big fine. I can't remember what it was. Points deduction. I mean, look, let's find out. I suppose there are loads of things that could happen here. You could get a points deduction. You could get a transfer embargo. You could get banned from UEFA competitions for a fixed period of time. You could get regulations put on you over a few years. I don't know. There's quite a lot that could happen. If we're being completely honest, we expect City to be able to worm their way out of this. We expect City to be paying X amount of money in a fine saying, oh, sorry, guys. We didn't know what we were doing. It was a mistake. I've just been caught red-handed. As I said, dumbass criminals. Dumbass criminals. Is it unfair to call them criminals? I mean, probably I legally couldn't call them criminals. But they've just been cooking their books for ages. Yeah, I reckon they should send them back down to the Championship where that crappy little club belongs, man. Right, I think there's more updates coming up. If anybody's got any questions, a bit of a strange show. Certainly a different energy now than there was at the start of the show. I think there might be an update on Anthony Martial. Let me bring this back here. Let's have a look. It's from Samuel Luckhurst. We're going to have a conversation about it this morning. I've spoken about Anthony Martial for quite a while. I spoke about Anthony Martial after the game. I spoke about Anthony Martial last week. And now we're seeing these reports coming from the Manchester Evening News, right? Martial is among the players United have listed to sell at the end of the season. Maguire and Tellez are also among the players who will be made available to buy. And look, man, I'm I really enjoy watching Manchester United when Anthony Martial is fit, ready, and on form. We're a better team with him in. Unfortunately, that's just not enough. It is not enough. And he has to be sold at the end of the season. Anybody who's part of Martial FC, you're just going to have to accept it. I would rather Martial stayed fit and blah, 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 blah. But I'm done with the hypotheticals anymore. For me, I'm done with the hypotheticals. Jonathan, it's almost like this has been a problem at Manchester United for years and years and years and years and years and years. Somebody will have to pay them. He'll have to take a wage cut. He didn't play enough to warrant the wages he's on, and he knows that. I feel a little bit sorry for him because I think Martial, more than most players that we've seen in a United shirt, he's somebody who Rooney was another one. No, I'm not comparing Rooney and Martial. I promise. I kind of just did there, but I backtrack on that. Rooney was somebody who really required constant game time to maintain fitness. Like, he was somebody who put weight on easy, comes back from the summer. He's like, woo, a great little holiday. And it takes him a little while to get back into the rhythm. Once he's in the rhythm, he's sort of unstoppable. Martial is somebody who, when he's playing consistently, he just gets better and better. And it's just like, you see him, his stature changes, right? But Martial is just not fit enough. He can't, anytime there's any, it's like, yeah, I'm the mud. And it happened to me again. Straight after the Forest game, I said, look, I'm trying not to let myself do it. But here we are again, getting excited about Martial. And literally the next game, he's out because he's injured. I'm done with it, man. This football club is moving onwards. This football club really is now heading in the right direction. You've got to take the emotion, take the connection, take the sentiment aside and say, if there is a football player in your squad who's on 250 grand a week, who's supposed to be your starting number 9 and who is available for probably less than a third of the games in the season, should you be building a team around that player? No. Should you be considering selling that player? Yes. That's it. Martial, in my opinion, should be sold. And according to Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News, that is something that Manchester United are doing. But I want to reiterate and go back to what is quite definitely one of the biggest stories that we'll see in a while. Let me see if there's anything else sat down there. No, it's not. There we go. This is from the BBC on this breach of FFP rules by Man City. It's definitely the case. It's definitely happened. Man City have been accused of breaching financial fair play rules. Premier League has been accused City of breaching its financial rules. So it's not actually UEFA. That's an interesting one. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. But this is coming not from UEFA. This is coming from the Premier League. That's interesting. I don't know whether, I mean, who does that go to? Let's read through this article here. It has referred the club to a commission over alleged breaches between 2009-10 and 2017-18. In 2020, City had a 2-year ban from European club competitions overturned after UEFA had ruled that City committed serious breaches. I forgot about that. I completely and utterly forgot about that. Jeez. Let's find out. Right? Let's find out what happens here. But this has been coming. This is karma. And I suppose this is a bit of a... No, it's different. United have got the revenues. United have got... I know there's a fear from some people and new owners about how it will shape United's finances in the future, where the money will come from, whether it could lead to something like that further down the line. Maybe. But let's see what you're saying down here in the comments. John, you're saying you sell Martial, get another number 9. What guarantees you? I mean, John, that's a bit of a silly comment, isn't it? There's no guarantee that any new player comes in won't be injured. I mean, it's sport. You can't guarantee that. What I can guarantee you is that Martial will not play a full season because Martial will continually get injured month after month. So it's not a case of I mean, what's that? It's like the opposite of grass is greener. Look, it may well be a case that another player comes in and gets injuries. There's nothing you can do about that. But you certainly can improve the situation you've currently got. Last few minutes of the show, as I do every single day, fire in your questions. I'll try and answer as many of them as possible. Can be anything to do with football. Can be to do with anything. And what else are you saying down here? Dot them points, relegate them. At the very least, I say strip them of all their titles. Put them back down into the championship. Don't allow them to get promoted, even if they finish in the top 3. Well, second plus the playoffs. Yeah. Does that mean that the money they got will go? Sod knows. Absolutely sod knows. Look, realistically, we all genuinely feel that this probably will lead to nothing. But it's good to see that somebody, at the very least, is sitting there and auditing their books properly. Because I guarantee you, if you followed that money trail and you did it properly, you'd find some really corrupt stuff. And I don't even think it'd be that hard to find. Jonathan, you're saying PSG on the fiddle. Look, man, PSG, City, Chelsea have found and exploited a loophole that UEFA have closed now for everybody else. I hope that comes back to bite them, because they got some massive liabilities hanging over their head now for the next 8 years because of how they've structured their finances and contracts. It's probably fair and just, isn't it? City should be going down to non-league. I think that's pretty fair. Need independent bodies scrutinising refereeing standards. Says that it's weird, isn't it? As I said, I think we can get angry. Where is it? I think we can. You can be angry, right? I don't understand the anger. You can be angry that Casemiro got sent off, but I understood that in real time. I saw it and I was like, "Ah, fuck's sake, he's put 2 hands on his throat." I'm like, you just can't do it. Even if you're putting 2 hands on someone's throat to gently caress them with your thumbs, give them a little tiny neck massage. There's no malice in it. You're still going to get sent off in a football game. You just can't put 2 hands on someone's neck in a game of sport and not expect to get sent off for violent conduct. I don't care if he was, and I know he was. And as I said, that camera angle there from behind it when he's pulling Will Hughes forward rather than pushing him away. But you just can't do it, right? You just can't do it. That's what I think so anyway. So I don't think we're going to appeal that, and I don't think we should appeal that. But I think Ant's right. The refereeing standards, it's weird. It's odd. That Sabitzer one made no sense. No sense at all. There was nobody asking for a foul. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Can we see Malacia, Shaw, Mainu, Sabitzer in the Leeds game? I think we'll see them all. Well, maybe not Malacia and Shaw. Depends on whether we're going to start Casemiro or not. But not Casemiro, Varane and Martinez. But I'll tell you what, I haven't even got a photo of him here. I should have. Man, Varane, who's just retired, by the way, from France. The post 30, the next 3 years for so many different names, man. Next 3 years for Varane could be a bit of a problem from everyone else. His hands are not in his front. Look, Tim Meyer, honestly, guys, I would just personally say, this isn't worth the ag. Right? It's not worth the ag. I know that we are right, yeah, but you're not going to win an appeal with that. All right, you're not going to win an appeal with that. And as I said, if United were to appeal, could you imagine how pissed off people would be if the club put in an appeal for Casemiro and he gets banned for the final against Newcastle? You'd be absolutely fuming. So let's deal with it. Let's deal without Casemiro in the next 3 games. It might be tough. It will be tough. It's going to be a struggle. But we'll cope without him. All right? Yeah, Madhouse. Of course, yeah. Hopefully Casemiro got arrested after that assault there. Gabby Bonahog. Just what an irrelevant dude. Irrelevant dude. Yeah, T, I didn't even mention it. Of course, there's a set bit. Was it Jordan Ayew, I think, just putting his hand on Fred's throat? That was what I said after the game. Let me pull that tweet up. I think that pretty much sums up my personal opinion on this Casemiro situation there. Here. This is what I said after the game, and I absolutely stand by what I said here. Let me pull this up. I said this. I said we can have 0 complaints about Casemiro's red card, but we can have every complaint that Ayew pushing Fred by the throat wasn't even looked at. And it's these two situations here. Ayew there, clearly hand on Fred's throat, but nobody even mentioned it. Not a peep. Not a peep. Olivia, I'll be honest, quite a few people have said this to me. And maybe I will next time. But I think it's like 2 or 3 times they've called, well, they've asked me to come on. And every single time I've just straight up gone, nah, sod that. But I might go in next time and just surprise him, I suppose. Just speak. I'll speak properly for like, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds and then go, now that I'm here, lads, I want to call you out on all your absolute shit that you say as a channel. Do you ever believe anything that comes out of your own mouth? Because I'm not sure you do. I don't think they put that video out, though. I don't think they put that video out. But if someone's watching it, they could clip it up. It'd be good to expose them on their own channel. Imagine that. That would be quite fun. So maybe I will the next time. But yeah, the first few times I've just not wanted to. I've just not wanted to. I think Jonathan is right down there. I don't want to lower myself. Because integrity farms. Don't know why I said that. Big up Stan Marsh from South Park, if anybody watches that. Anyway, segue. I do want to do it, but I don't want to do it because I hate everything that TalkSport stands for in the type of content they create. It's something I've always stood against online. I think the platforms of fan channels have a bad rep overall because typically a lot of the content on those channels that exists, it's not good for the clubs that they're supposed to be representing. They're used by rival fans to point at and laugh at a club. And that's been the issue with fan channels and the content that exists on fan channels for a long, long time. The problem has never been the medium of fan channels, because if you do it right, and I think we do it right as a community, and what I like to think that the content I do represents the club well, then it can be a positive thing. It can be something that really genuinely, truly reflects your club well in a positive way. So that's what I try and do. And that's why I've always avoided TalkSport whenever they've come forward. But maybe I'll go on there and call them out. Going back to what I said at the start of the show. Today is the 65th anniversary of the Munich Air Disaster. And I'll share it one more time because I share it every single year. This is my own 13-part series for my dissertation on the Busby Babes and the Munich Air Disaster and the impact of all of it. Okay, if you'd like to read it, take a little bit of time out of your day. I think you'll learn a thing or two. It gives you the whole political, social, economic impact of the disaster in Manchester and the whole of England. But yeah, I always like to share that. Thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you to Ricky. Thank you to, I think, Buddy as well. You may have gifted some memberships. And I apologize. It was the name at the start. Stu, it was you as well. Thank you to everyone. All right. I'll be here as always. I'm here all week. If you're new, hey, look, if you're new, make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, become part of the community. To all the community members, I am working on the behind the scenes content. I'm going to bring up a new schedule. I reckon in the next couple of weeks, we can start doing some of the regular members only content. That's going to be exciting. I'll be here today with a video I'm going to do on that second goal that we scored against Crystal Palace and how that's the blueprint moving forward. If Spurs was the blueprint of how we need to press as a team, that goal there was the perfect blueprint of building up from the back, building out from the back, and what Ten Hag's working towards. But thank you all for tuning in today. And yeah, one more time here. This has been coming for so long, and I hope that a genuine punishment comes as a consequence of this. Don't let them pay their way out of it. That's how they got themselves into this mess. Do it properly. But it's good to see, finally, chickens coming home to roost for City. Take it easy, everyone. Have a good day.